Good day riders, today we're bringing yet another special video. This time around we've set up a list of the top 5 best selling sport touring helmets based on our internal sales data. Then we scoured the internet to find out how the general riding community feels about them, what makes them great and what can you expect from these helmets. And this won't be a sales pitch in any way, I'll give you the good, the bad and the ugly. We're going to cover a lot of points based on rider feedback posted on YouTube, Reddit, forums, social media, championhelmets.com, other sellers. Basically, we looked everywhere to paint a full picture of your experiences. It's all based on your guys' opinions and there will be a poll at the top of the description where you can join the conversation, share your opinion and follow real time how the riding community feels about the most popular sport touring helmets. Let's get into it. Our data shows that the Arai Quantic comes in at 5th place. This bestseller is a flagship sport touring offering from Arai, a brand known for their dedication to making the safest helmets out there. It's a fiberglass composite helmet and has a recommended retail price of €680. Here's what you need to know from the experiences of other riders. First off, one of the main benefits of the Quantic that kept being mentioned was how comfortable this helmet is. Arai is known for making helmets best suited for a rounder head shape and riders that fit into that category love how the helmet feels. The interior is made of comfortable high quality materials and riders also shared how the Quantic is very glasses friendly. Another big reason as to why riders enjoy the Arai Quantic so much is that it doesn't trade safety for convenience. When it comes to it, a motorcycle helmet has to protect your head as best as possible and that's exactly what this helmet is designed to do. But no helmet is without its weaknesses, and a couple of things kept being mentioned. First off, we found many riders noting that they didn't like the noise isolation of the Quantic, basically saying it's a loud helmet. This is probably related to another complaint that kept coming up, which is that the chin curtain of this helmet is short, and with that it lets in a lot of air inside the helmet and also makes it louder. Another thing that riders kept mentioning was the weight of the Quantic. It's one of the heaviest sport touring helmets out there as something to keep in mind before buying. Alright, 4th place goes to the Scorpion XO 1400 Evo series, a racy looking sport touring helmet that comes in 2 versions, a fiberglass version with the recommended retail price of €310 and a carbon version that costs €430. A core strength of the XO 1400 that riders kept mentioning was its lightweight. It weighs in at 1424 grams in the size M and it's actually the lightest sport touring helmet with an integrated sun visor. A feature that riders were very positive about is the fact that this helmet offers a lot of extras like an additional dark smoke visor for the carbon version and for both versions an air fit pump system that allows you to adjust the thickness of the cheek pads. And finally, riders rightfully pointed out that this series offers a wide range of features at a very reasonable price. There were also some weaknesses that got mentioned a lot, starting with the noise isolation of the XO 14 series, where many riders shared how they felt that the XO 14 was very loud at highway speeds. The second most mentioned weakness we found in our research was related to the visor mechanism and how the detents are too loose to keep the visor up as you pick up some speed on your motorcycle. The Shoei GT-Air 3 starts our top 3 and this fiberglass composite helmet is one of the more expensive helmets in this top 5 and aims to follow in the footsteps of the GT-Air 2. It's got a recommended retail price of €600, so let's see how riders have experienced this helmet since it's been out. The first things we noticed in our research was how riders were generally happy with the noise isolation of the GT-Air 3, an important strength for a helmet that is designed to be comfortable on longer rides. Aside from the noise isolation, riders also found the GT-Air 3 to be very comfortable to wear, something that Shoei helmets are definitely known for. However, the sentiment around the GT-Air 3 was negative to a bit neutral at best, so let's see exactly what riders were unhappy about. One of the main points of discussion around the Shoei GT-Air 3 is the fact that it has a dedicated communication system, the SRL3. Again, pressuring riders to purchase a specific communication system that you can't integrate into any other helmets. Secondly, riders were critical of the ratchet closure of the GT-Air 3, describing how it was too short, putting a lot of pressure on their necks. There's no room to adjust the length, which made it very hard for some riders to enjoy the helmet. Another thing that riders didn't like about the GT-Air 3 was its weight. It weighs around 1574 grams in the size M, which is 100 grams more than its predecessor. And the final complaint that riders kept mentioning was related to the chin curtain of the GT-Air 3 and how it doesn't really clip into the helmet properly. Some riders even reported that the chin curtain became loose every time they took their GT-Air 3 off of their heads. Alright, our data shows that the RPHA-71 ended up in second place. This helmet has two variants, a fiberglass composite version with the recommended retail price of 480 euros and a carbon fiber version that costs 630 euros. Let's see how riders experienced the HJC take on a high-end sport touring helmet. The first thing that came up a lot was the build quality, but more importantly, the comfort of the RPHA-71. It's tailored to those with an intermediate oval head shape and has many outer shell sizes, and according to riders, it's very comfortable to wear. Aside from comfort, riders were pleased with the ventilation of the RPHA-71. However, there was a very obvious trend in the comments we found online. It's pretty clear that riders who had the previous version, the RPHA-70, weren't so easily impressed with the 71, and here's what they had to say. By far, the most mentioned downside of the RPHA-71 is that riders found it to be loud in terms of wind noise, especially compared to their older RPHA-70. Also, the RPHA-71 is much heavier than its predecessor. Secondly, the communication system is something a lot of riders were not happy with, similar to the GT-Air 3. More specifically, the RPHA-71 has its own dedicated communication system, but also makes it hard for riders to install any of their alternatives. Alright, here is our number one most sold sport touring helmet, the HJC K6S. It's got a carbon fiber and aramid outer shell and a recommended retail price of 449 euros. And an overwhelming amount of riders were particularly positive about the weight of the K6S. In a size M, this helmet only weighs around 1300 grams, which is a lot less than most of its competitors. Another thing that came up in our research was how the K6S has a very wide field of vision and causes very little obstruction, even when you're leaned over in a more racy posture. As we all know, no helmet is perfect, so what are the downsides of the K6S? Well, something you probably not expect. It has to do with the fit of this helmet, and riders specifically shared how they felt that their nose made contact with the chin piece of the helmet and the breath guard at highway speeds. And speaking of highway speeds, riders reported how they felt that the K6S is also rather loud while riding at highway speeds. And that covers it for our top 5 best-selling sport touring helmets. And if you've worn any of these helmets and want to add to the conversation, don't hesitate to let us know in the comments below. And you'll also find a link to our special poll at the top of the description, where you can instantly see how our community feels about these helmets. And of course, share your own opinions. Also, be sure to check out championhelmets.com, where we have all of these bestsellers at lowest price guaranteed, and we have very sharp discount bundles and experts waiting to answer your questions. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in your feed. Guys, buy smart and ride safe. Until next time.